Listen, your pain and your past and your life, those places that have wounded you are not your fault. But your healing is your responsibility. You can do this. There's a point sometimes where you just actually have to let people see who you really are. And the reason you need to do that is because if people only love you when you're presenting your best self, what happens when your life falls apart is you question their love because they've never seen you authentically in your mess. Unconditional love is only unconditional if people have been allowed to see the wobbly bits, metaphorically. What I can say is this: if you find your breakthrough, you have to maintain it. Because while I can get on a stage today, what I can tell you is 3 years ago, I tried out for a talk and sobbed the whole time. I did not maintain my breakthrough. So it's not only our responsibility to engage, to take another look, to adjust the lens, it's also our responsibility to continue to maintain our breakthrough, because if you're not going forward, you're just going backward. So this is my little brother, Rian. He's like 6'5". Now he's much older. What happened in between 3 and about 30-ish, 33-ish, I think, was I got married, I had Carter, I had Grace. We were super stoked about that. After the fact, they were also both whoopsie babies that I didn't plan. But what happened was we actually went through, in 1 year, I discovered that my husband at the time had been unfaithful. And the circumstances surrounding the infidelity was very hard for me to accept. In that same year, we also happened to be going through the adoption process. And we kept trucking along. And within 9 months, we had been matched with the mom. We lost the baby. She changed her mind. It was a big to-do. I was devastated. We were immediately matched again with another mom who chose us. We did the same thing. We flew to the place, went to pick up our new baby, took the pictures, named the baby, and then that mom changed her mind. And something happened to me in that time was that I got really angry. I got really angry and started to feel indignant about my life. I was looking back and saying, I did this right, and I did this right, and I got the degree, and we got the house, and blah, blah, blah. And what happened was my life started to slowly dismantle. It didn't happen like a pow and it was broken. It happened over decisions made over the course of the next number of months. And within about a year of that, we split, my husband and I split. I moved in with my one of my little siblings. And on this particular night, it was the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, someone followed me home. And he punched me in the face 5 times, breaking my nose, causing pretty severe concussion. And it was this little brother and one of my sisters that found me. For the next year, I lived a very dissociated life. It was very incongruent with my morals. It was incongruent with my values. And I continued to self-medicate with pharmaceuticals that were prescribed to me and a lot of wine. I drank a lot because I really honestly didn't know how to function given my circumstances. About a year after this, I finally started kind of coming back up for air. The man was never prosecuted because of some technicalities, and just in case you're wondering, he still probably is around here. That's not encouraging, I'm sorry. But it was the truth, and it was really frustrating, is what I'm gonna tell you, which is why I'm very passionate about justice and social justice. I decided if I'm going to do this, I'm just gonna go all in. And so I spent the next year doing my work life absolutely terrified. It was so bad. And here's the thing, I did it ugly. I was not pretty ever when I was doing this job, because as my internal healing process was doing this, I would like get 2 steps forward, and then it was almost like it was too much, and I would deconstruct a little, I would come back, and then I would go back to living an incongruent lifestyle based on my morals and beliefs. And so it was 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, talking on a stage, trying not to throw up. I mean, my whole life was just, it was this, I'm gonna do this thing scared. Once I went to Mississippi, and then I went into the Colorado mountains, and every time I would go, it was like just like a little bit more of like overcoming that fear. Ironically, many times I would leave early. I'd be like, I'm staying for 3 days, I'm so BA. And then I'd be like, well, actually it's 2.5 and that's enough, I gotta go. Because I was just so scared. But each one of those little things became a yes. Each time I stepped on a stage and did it ugly and cried when I was done, it became one more time that I flexed that muscle and said, yes, I can. Yes, I can do this thing. Each time I went camping, it was one more night of tenting all by myself, having nightmares, crying, saying, I'm not scared. And what ended up happening is it built this muscle. It built this thing in me to where saying yes to the things that I was afraid of became a little bit easier and easier. Around this time, I had been invited by someone who said, would you come to the Middle East? I'm a single mom. Why would I go to a war zone? Like, I can't do that. And then finally, something quickened in my spirit on a Sunday morning, and I was like, fine, I'll do it. Let's go. And so I had this opportunity to go to Jordan. And during that time, I met this woman up there kind of in the center. Charmaine is her name. And she at the time, she was a woman who's a single mom who had started an international humanitarian aid organization that supported women and children in war-torn areas. And the women that she was working with at the time, who were my age, were being sold for about $72. So depending on if you had your teeth, if you had kids, what your facial structure looked like, what was happening was the traffickers were taking pictures, posting them on WhatsApp, and then they were bartering. Because when you're in war and you don't have money, the cheapest thing you can give to people is people. And I started to see, it was like the lens that I had, I was making this transition from victim, child, abandoned, abused, and something was happening where I started to see myself differently, where I started to say, hey, I can help, we can support, we can step into this. And something shifted in my spirit and in my person, where this transition that other people had seen for quite some time, and I was apparently the last to the party because I didn't see it. What happened after this was Charmaine invited me to Erbil, Iraq. And at that time, ISIS was still in control. We had the opportunity with Charmaine to go into this community the size of Fargo that evacuated in about 3 hours, thinking they were going to be back in their community, back in their beds with their nice sheets and pillowcases, and they were going to be able to come back. And these families left and didn't come back for 3 years. What I found out shortly after we came back, over the course of that summer, what happened was those people who returned, who received the small business grants that Charmaine's organization was supporting them with, something happened. Hope was reignited. Now we say it. I am stronger than I think I am. One more time. I am stronger than I think I am. One last time with your eyes open. I am stronger than I think I am.